It's gonna be good.
Restart. I didn't know you started it.
Oh, I started it.
No.
Yeah, it's going.
No, I reset. Okay, start. Life is short, time is fast, there's no rewind, and there's no replay. Nobody can predict what's gonna happen in the future, but you can always try to influence it. That's why you should seize every moment as it comes. Your deeds have enormous power on people, sometimes more than you think it does. It has the power to heal, the power to cure, and yet still the power to scar. I want to ask you a question. How have the deeds of another affected your life? Or yet the better question should be, how have your deeds affected people's lives? You can tell me the answer later after class because as of now, I have about 5 minutes to tell you mine. My story revolves around a boy named Bobby. He was this chubby kid with short and curly hair. I first met him when he was 7. When I was 7, he was also 7, so we went to the same school for 11 years together. Bobby, you see, he's not the most good-looking boy in class. He got bunny ears. He did reach puberty faster than the others, so his voice was one of the first ones to crack, and he had that splatter of pimples across his face. He's had on the same goofy glasses ever since he was in grade 2, and yeah, he's just that kid. I mean, I feel like everybody has that kid in your class. The thing is, everybody used to tease me to be with him, and I hated that. Later on, I found out that he actually had a crush on me, which made my hatred for him even grow even more. I was mean to him because my 12-year-old logic told me that if I wasn't mean to him, then someone else might just assume that I should like him. I used to make fun of his laugh, which is choky and airy, sounded a bit like a horse, just like, I still remember his laugh, and um, I used to talk about him behind his back and also in front of him. I made him carry my stuff and just do whatever I wanted him to do. The thing is, I never replied to his texts, I never greet him in the hallways, and I never say anything good to him. But every time our teacher would tell us about the group project, he's the first one that I would recruit. Because you can give him any task and he'll do it. You can tell him to bring a bag of potassium powder overnight, and the next day he'll bring it to you. And Bobby's not just a nerd. He was also very athletic. So he was in the basketball team for about 3 years, and every time the coach would tell us to split into groups, I would tell him to be in my group. Sometimes I know that he doesn't want to be in my group, but he could never say no because that's him. He's nice. Summer of 2014, I spent the entire summer in Singapore. It was a really relaxing and peaceful time for me, and I didn't meet my friends for a long time, but it didn't bother me because I had fun. One particular afternoon, I remember it vividly. I was snuggled up in my bed, reading to all the boys I've loved before. It just got released. Um, when suddenly my mom called me up into the living room and she told me that an airplane had gone missing. It was the Air Asia 850. I can't remember the number. I actually do, but it's like I'm so nervous right now. But yeah. So basically, among the passengers list, Bobby, his sister Ingrid, and their parents were both inside. I was worried sick. The moment I heard that, I did the first thing I did something that never even crossed my mind before. I did something that I've never done that summer before, and that's to text him. So I sent him a text, but of course, as expected, the text wasn't sent, but it still felt like a stab in the heart. A few days after the announcement, his plane crash was confirmed. His funeral was the first one that I've ever been to, and a lot of my friends too. So during his funeral, We were all seated in front of a table full of snacks, just sharing stories about him. We talked about his favorite jersey, which was orange and it had a number and his name on it. I mean, he would just wear that jersey all week, and it was kind of stinky, but he loved it. I remember a particular person telling us about a story about how he still owed Bobby about 20,000 rupiah. That's about $1.5 US dollars. But one thing that I was thinking was that what he owed Bobby was nothing to what I owed him. As we were talking, I realized that something was missing, and that's his voice. I may be mean to him, but I realized that he's always the one to jump into discussions and he's always one to have a lot to say. But as I glanced back and I looked at his coffin, it was boat-shaped, and that was the first day I found out that coffins were made of wood. He was just standing there. He was laying inside, of course. I didn't get to see him, and I didn't want to see him. He was just sleeping there lifeless. And for a 14-year-old me, that was when the concept of death got real. That was when I realized that my friend was really gone. But I spent a long time just trying to figure out where he went. And my professor told me that if you didn't believe in Jesus, you went to hell. A few days ago, I had a talk with my professor, Professor Pike. He told me that God would never let that happen, and that he's sure that Bobby's at God's right side, and I believe that too. But I realized that it was no use of me thinking about what could have been and how nice I could have treated him in the past. The thing is, what happened has already happened. What you can do is just learn from it. So I just want to say once again that life is short, time is fast. There's no rewinders and there's no replay. Thank you.